Yeah, and the thing that bugged me about the Gilliam bar is that they said that you improved enough
To rule it all
to rule it out, but
yeah.
it was just like, but you still can't.
Yeah, and at the time we had no idea what the hell we were dealing with, so
No.
we were literally grasping onto all
Clutching at
straws.
straws.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to give context to people, you were classed as medically fit.
I was medically fit, but I couldn't walk.
So from someone who has been doing kickboxing to walking miles to being a support care worker, looking after other people, and then having to come home in a wheelchair and not be able to physically walk and be described as medically fit.
It was like, how
I couldn't wrap my head around
how's
it.
that? How does that work?
Yeah.
All right, granted, according to every scan and test and bloods we've done, we can't see anything. They didn't want to do the lumbar puncture because
The risk ratio.
it's quite a high risk procedure because, you know, they're getting fluid from your spine, because everything else came back negative. Other than my ANAs, my ANAs.
We came home none the
Yeah,
wiser.
they just said, all right, we'll refer you to neurology and they'll be in touch.
And at this point, you were working as a support care worker, and we went literally from 2 wages down to 1 in the space of 5 days. And
yeah, because I was on like 0 hours, so
that was a massive stress for you as well.
it was just like
Because it wasn't just your health; it was
everything.
it was everything. You couldn't drive. You couldn't put your foot on the clutch.
Well, I could. Well, before all that, I couldn't walk. So it was like, you know, I was sleeping downstairs, and I'd hear my kids get up in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, they were in year 6 and in year 3, getting dressed and going to breakfast club.
Yeah.
Where
And luckily, the school is literally there. It's like, what, 4 doors down?
Yeah.
So luckily for me, I was able to stand by the door, watch them go to school. But at the same time, as a mother that is used to doing that all the time for your kids, and then going from that and not being able to see your children go to school because you were so exhausted.
Well, yeah, I couldn't pick
was
the kids
wiping
up.
you
I
out.
mean, God, I think first couple of weeks at home, I literally was just constantly in bed because I was so tired and knackered.
And even just like getting from because the bed was over there and the sofa's where it is now, and we had the table where that camera is, and just the physical act of going from the bed to the sofa
with either the Zimmer frame or
the wheelchair
would
just
knock me
wipe
out.
you
It's
out.
like, how can someone be physically fit, or
Medically
medically fit and not be able to walk? You know, like leaving the hospital, my sister filming me just to go to the toilet was just like.
Yeah, and the thing that bugged me about the Gilliam bar is that they said that you improved enough
to rule it out.
But it was just like, but you still can't.
Yeah, and at the time we had no idea what the hell we were dealing with, so we were literally grasping onto all
Clutching
straws.
at straws.
Yeah.
But now that we understand the diagnosis, it makes sense.
Yes, it does. But
how did we get to that diagnosis, though?
Well, prior to that, I was back in A&E.
Yes, again, you went back in.
I went back into A&E because that's when what was it, June?
It wasn't long after. I think you were only home.
It was June. I know it was definitely in June, so it was.
But about 2 weeks later, because it wasn't long, because you were in at the end of May, and then you came home.
So when I was using the Zimmer frame to get to the bathroom, I just could not bear weight on the ball of my left foot.
Yeah.
Just the only way I could describe it, it's like when you put your foot on the clutch, you've got to put that extra pressure, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And then that just freaked me the hell out because I thought, I'm never going to drive again.
Well, we ended up selling the car.
I I'm never going to be able to drive again. I've lost my independence, you know. So yeah, we ended up selling the car. One, because I wasn't using it, and we realistically didn't think I was going to be driving it again.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a...
How did that hit you emotionally? Because you've dealt with this extremely well, and you haven't really shown me. I haven't seen any breakdown or massive tears.
I think because I've been in the care industry all my life,
Yeah.
and you know, I've worked from the elderly right down to babies, but more so adults,
Yeah.
with learning difficulties. And that was just in my head all the time, because I just thought, well, yeah, my life's been turned upside down. But,
Yeah.
you know, I'm still here. I'm still me in one sense. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not going to let an illness deter who I am.